Okay, so it is perfectly understandable that as of today, Thursday, October 12th, 2023, it is perfectly understandable that there would be those who might quietly think to themselves, perhaps Stronghold Digital Mining is slowly but surely winding down its operations, given the fact there has yet to be a September 2023 Bitcoin mining update. Now, listen, these monthly Bitcoin mining updates have never inherently been something that I have personally, at least, thought are this mission critical thing. However, I do acknowledge and recognize that the broader market seems to enjoy the spectacle, right, of every publicly traded Bitcoin mining company presenting its previous month's, Bitcoin mining results, right? Hey, how many Bitcoin did we mine? Now, from a pure, mathematical perspective and a pure operational perspective, and from a pure, staying in business and doing well perspective, I don't know that it's super critical to announce those numbers. But given the fact that we have started to release those numbers again, at least for the past several months, it would now seem to create this impression that perhaps Stronghold is once again at the threshold of the end, right? Hey, there's no money, there's no Bitcoin being produced, operations have perhaps been shuttered, maybe nothing's going on. It's just a matter of the bankruptcy lawyers, crossing some T's, dotting some I's before the paperwork gets filed with the court or something to that effect, right? And that's the type of thinking that inevitably begins to percolate, right? In the absence of, sort of like continuing a tradition of saying, hey, it seems like we've been publishing these numbers. It's like a proof of life almost, like, hey, we exist. This is the Bitcoin that we produced. We're here. We're talking. We're, right. We're visible. So from that perspective, I definitely do see there at this point being some value in, continuing that tradition. Even though, again, listen, I've never really been somebody to sit there and be like, hey, how much Bitcoin did we make last month? I mean, it's interesting to a point, but it's not the kind of thing that, I don't know. Look at. I am not the market. I am just one individual who expresses my perspective on things. But I do sense, and I think we would all agree on this, right, that the broader, Bitcoin mining market, right, where those of us who are interested in Bitcoin, who are interested in publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies, it seems as if, though, there's a real interest in this type of number being published. It helps Stronghold be included in these charts that various market observers cobble together, showing, hey, this is what every company, right, that's publicly traded, hey, this is what they mined in Bitcoin. And yeah, inevitably, we're not going to be right at the top of the list. We're a smaller company, but at least we're on the list, right? And so we're sort of we're sort of like to some degree, we're in the collective consciousness, so to speak, right, of, the marketplace. In the absence of that, and I'm no stranger to this, right, in the absence of that, there's really nothing, right? There's nothing but this void, which only gets filled during our quarterly investor presentations or whenever there's a really significant newsworthy event, which then there's a news release for. And so then, one of the reasons that I became so active in this space was because all I could see when I would go to YouTube or I would just go anywhere, all I saw was like negativity regarding Stronghold Digital Mining or just nothing at all. And so that kind of, I thought to myself, hey, wait a minute, there's a real legitimate story behind this company. And it's I think, it's just one of those things where it's like I'm so, as I've said before, right? I'm just so over the top in some ways, like just really, really passionate about the purpose and mission of this business, about this company, that I just felt I had to step in just as a random dude on the internet, right? Who, co-owns a portion of the business, right? As you do, I suspect as well. And to start talking about something that interests me, which is this company. So I visited Panther Creek today. No, this was not a formal walk in the front door and take a look around kind of visit. This was more of a, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I've got my mountain bike, strapped onto my vehicle. Hey, let me just kind of do a quick drive by, so to speak, check things out. And far from being shuttered, far from being wound down, far from Panther Creek just being there silently, it was an incredibly busy hub of activity, like a truly very busy, at least from my perspective. It seemed very busy today. Maybe it wasn't inherently any more busy than other times, but to me it just seemed a little bit busier than usual. I saw quite a few trucks, right, that would be bringing in some culm or gob, right, other terms for waste coal, into this purpose-built waste coal remediation facility. I saw those trucks, quite a few of them. I mean, unless my eyes and ears have deceived me, I saw Bitcoin. Well, I saw strong boxes. I saw strong boxes in the distance, and I could hear. I have not, validated this through some of my acoustic sampling tools, right, which I oftentimes will take with me. But I mean, it seemed as if though we were mining Bitcoin. So I have no reason to believe whatsoever that at least certainly not the Panther Creek facility is anything other than super, super busy. And I hope that my sharing this, provides at least a little bit of comfort, a little bit of hope, a little bit of certainty in what can otherwise admittedly feel like a very uncertain situation. Hey, Stronghold was publishing monthly, Bitcoin mining updates. Now it seems as if though we've stopped doing that. It's understandable if I'm sitting, say, in Kentucky, I'm just picking on Kentucky, it just popped into my head. No reason I'm mentioning Kentucky, just other than, hey, I thought of it. Hey, I'm sitting in the state of Kentucky or Texas or California or Oregon, or I'm in Europe, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, is this Stronghold, finally just, roll over? What's going on? So I hope that because of my physical proximity to at least the Panther Creek, waste coal remediation facility, and my ability to visit, as I did today, just as I said, I was out, beautiful weather today, and I'm like, hey, let me just kind of, swing by, right? Check things out from publicly accessible roadways, just see what's going on. Hey, I hope that provides at least a little bit of clarity. Now, is that a substitute? Is hearing from somebody on YouTube who often wears a cap and a hoodie and, kind of, I don't know, can seem very non-corporate in the way I present myself, right? Is that any substitute for a formal written news release from the company that we all care about? Well, no, it's not. But I continue to suspect that regardless of whatever the decision making process has been, right, with regard to, hey, do we put out a news release regarding Bitcoin production numbers or not? Is it worth our time and effort to do so or not? I'm convinced that internally we're probably looking at those numbers. I'd be very surprised if, after having read Michael Lewis's new book, Going Infinite, which I purchased not this Tuesday, but the previous Tuesday, and having read the book already, FTX had practically, it seemed like, no real internal controls. I don't think we're that. I don't think that we are just simply winging it and not really keeping track of how many Bitcoin we're mining on a monthly basis, right? On a daily basis, an hourly basis, right? Like what's going on, like right to that level of granularity. I suspect that's happening. But all that being said, listen, I don't know. I don't know what's informing the strategic decision not to release a September 2023 Bitcoin production, mining update. I'm personally not inherently troubled by that per se, other than to point out that it's kind of like, hey, we started to feed, some, oh God, that's a weird analogy, but look, I visit sometimes this farm and there's, these goats and they love to kind of nibble, have little snacks and stuff like that. And so it's inevitable. Hey, they've kind of seemingly now gotten used to me giving them a little something to eat. So I don't know if they can recognize me or whatever, but one goat in particular always seems to come up to me and is kind of looking for a little bite, a little snack. So I think the marketplace, right, has kind of been conditioned to get a little snack, right, in the form of, hey, this is our Bitcoin mining update for the previous month. And now all of a sudden, we're in the market, right? And hey, we're not perhaps giving that update anymore. I don't know. Hey, maybe an update's going to still be forthcoming. I just don't know. But I can appreciate and understand why there are segments of the market that would then, in the absence of any news release, right, and without any real ability to know what's going on, right? There have been no Form 8Ks. It's kind of like, hey, there's nothing. In the absence of nothing, the human imagination can be very, very fertile and very, very imaginative. And so my visit today, hopefully, and what I'm sharing about my visit, I mean, again, unless this was like an elaborate theatrical hoax, right? Nothing's really going on. It's like a theatrical production. No, I mean, it looked like there was like legitimate activity going on, and it was business as usual at least Panther Creek. So I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with what I saw. And, hey, it is what it is. It seems like we're not putting out a news release regarding our September 2023 Bitcoin mining update. Okay. I mean, right? It is what it is. What I do know, and I'd be very surprised if this changed, I do know that we're going to have an investor presentation. I'm laughing because I certainly hope we're going to have one that should typically take place in early November. Stronghold, don't break my heart. Let's continue to have investor presentations, presumably. We should typically, right, have an investor presentation sometime in early November, which will then talk about and cover Q3 2023, right, which would have been the period of time beginning right on July 1st through basically the end of September, I think, right? July, August, September, yeah. So obviously, if I have zero reason to believe we won't, at a bare minimum, have that quarterly investor presentation. We'll find out all about, what we did for the quarter in terms of Bitcoin mining, which will be great. We'll get updates regarding any news pertaining to the 25 megawatts of end-to-end data center equipment that we're hoping to co-locate somewhere and then hopefully fill with Bitcoin mining machines. And we might potentially even get some additional news pertaining to our efforts to capture the CO2 coming from our, from Stronghold's waste coal remediation facilities, and in so doing, earn a tax credit that can be very lucrative. So it's good for us and it's good for the environment. So it's a win-win. Okay, so that's today's update. And I hope you're doing well. And I'm looking forward, as usual, to seeing you tomorrow. So let's stay positive, let's be great, and we will see each other again then.